Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Ubrik show. And we are glad to welcome you all, including Ashwin and Monash, to season 3. So we did 2 seasons, right guys? How was it? How was season 2 for you guys? You guys had done a couple of episodes.
I mean, I was initially nervous. I was super nervous initially. But I remember we did these 30-minute long episodes, and I felt it was initially a very tiresome process, but then I realized that the more conversational you make it, I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that is what we'll actually try with season 3 as well. What about you, Monash? How was your season 3 experience? You did a couple of 6-7 episodes, I think so. Yeah,
And I think season 2. Season 2 was pretty good. Yeah, like Ashwin said, it is pretty intense because I think we were trying to cover a lot of points and not probably taking a small point, drilling that down and trying to get some insights out of it. Yeah,
I remember we'd taken notes. Yeah, we'd come all prepped for the session. So
what we've decided to do with season 3 is definitely we thought we'll try to have some guests on board.
Solid.
And also try to make it less technical. I think this is one of the feedbacks also we got, and internally we felt the same. So let's jump into today's episode, which is, now all of us are actually back from our vacation. Yeah. And most of us, like most of Dubai, I remember seeing this post 3 weeks back where somebody, I don't know who that was, but it was a very interesting post. They said, this was the last week of August. He said, I'm very excited. Within the next 7 days, Dubai is going to be fully back in action, where all the parking lots, the traffic, everything is going to get filled up. And for us, in context as a business, a lot of contracts that were lying in the drawer, will come out, budgets. So let's start with the holiday. How was your holidays, Monash?
I mean, this holidays was, I think, quite well deserved. I think probably during the pandemic, we hardly traveled. So I was lucky. I was back in Kerala. I was meeting my relatives, and the best part was, I got the best part of rain. That is all the nice parts, and not the flooding bit that you see on the news. Yeah,
family time.
We did do an amazing trek too. I think that was quite memorable.
Yeah, many of us. I think Ashwin was not there, but some of us from the Ubrik group, we all met up.
Usually not there in one of these treks.
So I find it. All of us because. Many of us are remote now, so we have a sizable number of people in Kerala now.
Yep.
So we all went for a trek. And what about you, Ashwin? How was your vacation? You, first of all, welcome back to Dubai. Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Mine was in Canada. I mean, I never expected to head there, but I think it was beautiful. A couple of months there. I think it was multiple provinces in Canada and a lot of beautiful park. Summer in Canada is wild because people get their campers out and they go all in family time. So it was fantastic. A lot of treks, not very dangerous ones like how you guys did it, but it was a solid time there.
Good stuff. So I think overall this emotion or this whole energy is there. Everybody is back.
Yeah. Hashtag back to school.
Yeah. People who have kids, my kids, Monash kids, they're all back to school as well. I think. And this is the most interesting thing that I'm sure most of us are noticing when you go outside now, coming back to office in the morning, you can see the traffic is in full-fledged. Getting like 2 years, getting parking in Media City had become easy.
Yeah, it was a breeze.
But now we are back to pre-COVID, like even stronger than pre-COVID. There is no parking at all. You have to come early or else you don't get a spot. So I think I just wanted to take this same topic ahead. Like, let's talk about, definitely there is a very big movement in the market. Yeah, things are actually going, in a very positive side. We can see this in the business, and we can see the real estate market. When you start scrolling LinkedIn, you can actually see a lot of positivity, and there is it's coming back stronger than ever. So today, the topic that I wanted to actually, discuss or talk with you guys, or see your perspectives on was a lot of discussions are happening online about business. And there is something new now in Ubrik show. We always try and bring something, whatever we learn, something new, we'd like to bring it to our listeners or viewers. So there is this whole concept of revenue operations.
Yep.
Okay. And the cool term these days, or the term that, for example, HubSpot, everybody uses this, but HubSpot recently went through the training certification. So it's called RevOps. Yeah. Now, this is something that I wanted to see. Now, somebody like Ashwin, like somebody like you, who is managing a lot of the strategy, the operations for our clients. Yeah. And somebody like Monash, who's out there in the market having a lot of these discussions, including myself. Yeah. So I wanted to get, first, let's try and understand, Monash, what do you think is revenue operations? Like simplify it so that anybody can understand.
I mean, I think season 3, we've taken this vow that, let's not explain jargons with more jargons. Yeah. So, I mean, revenue operations is something I think we've been doing for a while, firstly. Especially there are multiple departments that as Ubrik, we work with very closely. Yeah. That is your marketing department, your sales department, and then now customer service. Yeah. So when you look at a thread, it's basically which are the departments that actually results in customer experience. So that is your marketing, your sales, your customer service, and then your management, who's trying to make decisions based on some kind of data. Yeah. So revenue operations is that thread that can go along these different departments, have a simplified process, and have data flowing with one goal to see how well can a business serve the consumer, the customer.
Perfect. And I think the keyword here is revenue as well. Yeah. If you think about it, sheyaf, we had a conversation with, I remember us hiring for a HubSpot specialist role, and we were having a conversation with one of the candidates back in India. And we've been thinking about this for a while as well. Yeah. And then the backstory is when the candidate also discussed about how their agency was evolving into the spectrum of getting into solving operations as a problem focused on revenue. Yeah. So getting back to the keyword of revenue, right? So if you look at it, marketing, sales, service focused on solving a core business challenge. All of us thrive through revenue. That's the number one goal in any business, right? So I think following the thread of ensuring that each of these departments contribute to the revenue goal and not just take their metrics as a mantra, so to speak. I mean, we had
this is very interesting. Even all three of us discussing, Monash gave an understanding, you gave an understanding. This was a common discussion, like you said. And definitely, I think, like Monash said in the beginning, we've been doing this. Every business has been doing this since ages. It is not something, the terminology is something new. Yeah. But what according to me, or according to my understanding, this is more like a mindset. First, you have to change the mindset.
Absolutely.
Okay, the mindset. And the interesting thing is, be it sales, service, or marketing, right? All their actions, end of the day, is connected to what? To revenue.
Absolutely.
And you remember 3 years back when we changed this copy on our website, which says we focus on the numbers that matter. And end of the day, the biggest number, the main number for a business owner or a CEO, what matters for him is revenue.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
The sale, end of the day. Yeah.
I also remember about a year and a half back, right? Monash was in sales. Monash was always talking about the emphasis on CRM. Yeah, the fact that CRM will be a key driver to enable you to actually visualize this whole concept of revenue. Why? Because you have different functions sitting on a tool called your CRM, and they're able to compute the overall ROI of the individual efforts that each of the departments are taking. For example, let's look at ads. Yeah, there's a department for ads, there's a department for social media, the sales teams. With the CRM, right, none of these teams are sitting in silos. They're actually, the machine is working together, helping them solve the problem of revenue by being on a holistic system together.
But won't you say this is not the case with most of the CRMs out there? Because not all the CRMs are actually, I think even historically, 10, 15 years back, every CRM has, like, be it all the big names. These CRMs have all these functions in one place. But none of these CRMs had that view where, the end goal is, like, let's say, I don't want to take names, but let's say one of the top 3 big CRMs, they have finance, they have HR, they have sales, they have marketing, everything. But end of the day, it was still silos where that respective department is looking. I think the crux of this whole idea of the revenue operations or this revenue is whichever CRM you're using. In our case, we've seen how HubSpot has beautifully, they've actually jumped into this whole ideology where they have now a whole thing about RevOps, where everything, the whole ecosystem is built in a way that everything is connected. The best case example is even merging sales and marketing together can itself actually give us a lot of insights towards revenue, because sales and marketing, what they're doing is directly, whatever their actions,
impacting revenue.
Revenue.
But guys, probably a different way to look at it. I mean, I have a different perspective. Yeah, every DNA or every technology that comes out, they try to focus on a niche and try to build it. For example, say things like Oracle and sales, they were looking at operations as something. And once they've built their operation structure, then they thought, okay, we have implemented this in a company. How can we bring another department inside? Yeah, for example.
True.
So, and then they bought in, say, marketing, then they bought in sales. True. But it was inferior to something that somebody else was building.
Yeah.
For example, say Zoho is an example. Yeah, Zoho core, Zoho Books is awesome. Yeah. They've built Zoho Books, they have a lot of customer base, and then they're trying to see how can I build something that rest of the departments can actually use.
Kept building the ecosystem.
And very similar to HubSpot. HubSpot initially, I think our relationship with HubSpot goes on probably 5 to 7 years now. Yeah. At one point, they were just for the marketing department. And especially the reason, if you go back and see why we chose HubSpot, is we were doing a lot of marketing activities, running ads, doing content, etc. And we wanted some way to justify that, okay, the marketing department efforts can actually be measured. And we started using HubSpot for it. Slowly, they started including the next revenue department, that is sales. Then they started including the next revenue department, that is, okay, now the sales is there to build a relationship and close the deal. What about customer service? Who makes sure that you retain them? Then they added that.
And I think talking about customer service, I know, Ashwin, currently you're... how are you implementing this at Ubrik? I know we are working on this project, right?
Solid. Good question. Now, first of all, big fan of HubSpot. Yeah, I like HubSpot because it makes your life easy and it's not a challenging platform to run towards for different functions of the team. Take a look at the sales individual. He's not going to spend his efforts on trying to optimize the tool. His goal is revenue. His goal is running after potential clients for sales targets. Yeah. So a tool is an enabler to make your lives easy. And the underlining factor is to build processes in place to leverage these tools. And that's where client success, and that's where talking about service as an element becomes beautiful. Because what we did, sheyaf, you remember about 6 months back, I think you initiated this entire drill where we were looking at McD's operation drill. We were trying to understand how these guys are extremely effective at their process, their time and their quality. You go to any McD outlet, the same kind of quality delivered within a couple of minutes, the same kind of taste, and all of that remains consistent across the brand. And that's what we're trying to do with our operation. That's what we did, where we tried to build a process first. Go with the process first approach, where every single function, every single element, let's take, for example, ads again, yeah? You're doing ads. How is that data trickling into your system? How is that data being leveraged by the sales team? Are you able to track it? Are you able to see the overall customer acquisition cost, which is a very key indicator here? And are you able to visualize the entire outcome with effective reporting? Is that entire drill as part of the process? Yeah. And this is one example. And the best part here is there's a lot of cross-functional hat. If you think about it, right, this whole RevOps as a big solution, yeah, a lot of companies have started looking for RevOps specialist, RevOps teams, and chief RevOps officer.
I think it is the new thing. Like, I think since 2 years, data analyst is a very hot role. Now, I think in future it's coming, but I don't want to deviate from the topic. I was asking, like, how are you implementing this at Ubrik right now?
Yeah. So one thing we're doing is, again, HubSpot is being an enabler through the entire process of trying to help us understand how we can leverage a tool with the process in place. So what we did at first is we tried to map out the entire client service processing right when a sales handover completes, to ensuring we measure customer happiness and outcome at every interchange, how different teams are communicating with each other and are communicating with our end clients. Building a solid ticket management system, for example, is, I think, and then post reporting as well, measuring how the customer success looks like with an NPS score, with a customer effort score, to say, can I upsell to this client? Is this the right client where I can get more revenue from? Which is looking at customer effort score and deriving the fact that you can actually target n number of clients and keep them more happy in your ecosystem.
So if I'm understanding this correct, just to simplify this, so basically we had sales on HubSpot. Now we are also having marketing on HubSpot. We've been using it for a while. All our campaigns, the marketing activities, sales activities is connected. Now we're also connecting the service element.
Absolutely.
So even all our clients, all the communication. So end of the day, if I'm not wrong, what we will be able to see is how long does a sale take to close, how and what kind of leads and what kind of efforts are actually helping the sales to close. And once the sale is closed, using service, where right now we are using Monday, we are using emails. We'll start using service, and through service we can see how fast the delivery is happening. And implementing something like the NPS score, we can understand how happy the clients are, and even the satisfaction survey, whatever we do. So end of the day, let's say 6 months, we actually implement this, we run this, we are in a place to understand what are the best practices. I mean, what is our benchmark? We can put a benchmark and we can actually start pushing to, let's say if delivery time is X, we can actually try to push it to even shorter periods. And we know exactly average how much time a sale takes from the time a lead comes, what kind of lead comes. This is what end of the day is what happens.
So
right?
see, what we are trying to do is revenue operations for Ubrik. So if you kind of simplify it a little more, I mean, keeping the no jargon thing, is if you implement revenue operations properly in any company, marketeers can become better marketeers. They can build campaigns, they can run ads, they can do content, all with the purpose of delivering better results. Sales can go ahead, build relationship, see patterns, what has worked before, and close more deals. The same customer then moves from a sales handover to operations, and you can visualize how happy the customer is. Have the enthusiasm gone down because of we're trying to measure how happy they are. At the right portion, the sales can get back, or the operations can actually upsell. So if you see the common thread, if you kind of streamline these processes together, it's the same customer that is experiencing different departments of the same company.
Absolutely. And this brings in a lot of alignment to different teams, right? They're all motivated towards, if you look at the KPI of marketing sometime back, right? Leads, give me 100 leads. Now it's give me leads equivalent to 1 million revenue. Then sales is focused on converting 10% of that overall to drive 500,000 in revenue. Customer success is focused on driving five happy clients with 100,000 revenue. So everything is mapped towards revenue as the core data challenge and trying to solve for revenue.
And I think maybe we are not far away from the future. Definitely, as a business, we are taking this big shift where we are moving towards revenue operations. And I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. What do you guys think? Like, do you think, let's say 3-4 years down the line, now in a company we have marketing and sales, do you think it'll turn, the departments will be renamed and the roles will be renamed into revenue operations? What do you think?
I think something is cooler going to come, but still, that being said, I just want to throw a number out there, right? Gartner said that by the end of 2025, 75% of all companies, high growth companies, is going to have revenue operations as a core department.
I think
maybe all of these guys will happen, and all of these functions or departments will come under them.
Trickle down,
I think probably to look at an analogy is, few years back there was no CTO as a role. Yeah, because technology was not that important. It was, paper and, process and stuff like that. When technology came in, you had to bring a chief technology officer. Yeah. Similarly, now it's very natural that, now there are tools to measure revenue and how departments work. You will eventually have a chief revenue officer.
The fundamentals of business has not changed. Revenue as your primary goal. It's just that the culture of how we operate is slowly evolving towards that goal by unifying teams, by aligning teams.
So I think it's quite interesting how these changes will come about. And there is one last thing before we are on time for this episode. But before we close, there is an interesting thought we had yesterday. Ashwin, we were talking about this. This whole change is happening. So there are let's say two schools of thoughts. We are talking about, one is the clicks and views thought, and another one is the LTV and the CAC.
Yeah,
club.
two types of marketers in this world.
So there are two kinds of, and I think this is a very big takeaway. So the marketers we are talking about, clicks and views, are the marketers that they are diminishing drastically. These are the peoples in big organizations who will actually, run a campaign, and they are doing a lot of efforts, but their main metrics is clicks and views or impressions, whatever you call. Yeah.
To justify their work.
To justify their work or to justify the budget spend. Then we have the other school of thought, or the marketers who only talk about the lifetime value and the cost of acquisition. In general, it's directly connected to revenue. Because we had this very interesting discussion yesterday where somebody was telling us, they did something like this, they were showing these results, and the head of business or the CEO was asking, all this is good, but where is the sale or the revenue?
Now, guys, I think one thing I want to bring over here is, we talked about 3 departments now with revenue operations, right? Marketing, sales, and customer service. But there's a 4th guy in the room. There's always there. That is management. So this is where now with something like this, right? The management is asking those tough questions. Good. You have X number of views, clicks. Where is the revenue? So if this is implemented properly, and hopefully we'll see the second type of marketeers, grow more, is now the management can make decisions based on, so this has been more
I think that is the end result. End of the day, if all this are aligned, the management or the leadership can actually look and say, all this, the whole of efforts are actually targeted to one goal, which is revenue. So anyways, guys, I think the concept is quite interesting. And if anybody who's listening or watching, if they want help, we are going through this journey ourselves. And if you guys need help with this, we'll be more than happy to actually, assist you on this. So that's all, guys. Hopefully, thank you guys for all your inputs,
Of course.
And we will see you in another episode. Until then, guys, take care and have a great week. Bye-bye.